this article is very, very important. It came out in 2012, and it's actually titled Russia Issues Apocalyptic Warning for the United States Gulf Coast. Some of you might have heard that we had Russian submarines in the Gulf Coast area for the last couple of years. And what this article talks about is how the Russians came in and did their own report on the condition of the aftermath of the BP oil spill disaster. Okay, and it goes on to say that BP and the American government got together and decided to say that, let me see, it said something like only 5,000, what was it? 5,000 barrels were leaking a day. Here it is, 5,000 barrels a day, when they knew the real amount was higher than 25,000, leading to one of the largest cover-ups in United States history. Okay, the massive cover-up is still ongoing, leaving American people to believe this worst ecological catastrophe in their history was over. Far from it, however, as we can in part read from one American report. It talks about eyeless shrimp with oozing sores and other mutant creatures found in the Gulf of Mexico, raising concerns. And that was from 2010. 2 years later, in 2012, scientists and commercial officials alike are finding shrimp, crab, and fish that they believe have been deformed by chemicals unleashed in the spill. So you go a few years later and see what's been going on since then, you can tell that we're still in serious trouble. All right, on this report that I saw, earthquake may have been man-made, but more data is needed to assess hazards in Texas. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to point out to you was they were talking about fracking having a relationship to the earthquakes, which is true. This is from April 13th, 2016. But what I wanted to point out to you is that fracking by itself cannot generate earthquakes. It generally creates earthquakes if it has been injected near a fault, okay, or in a fault. Because what that water does is it corrodes the everything that fits together. It causes slippage of those things that usually fit together and hold together. So fracking cannot by itself cause earthquakes, but it can, if there is a fault line, cause those earthquakes to become more prevalent. However, when you look at what's going on with the fault lines around the world, you would see that Oklahoma isn't anything special. All the earthquakes everywhere is rising, meaning all of the fault lines have become active. So for them to just try to say that, oh, fracking is responsible and not tell you the other half is irresponsible, and to me it's a conspiracy. This is 2016, so I believe it was June of 2015. I was reading a report about how Galveston's water was described as like toilet water. And so this is a newer article that was from this 4th of July weekend, just letting people know what the condition is of the beaches now. Okay, so swimming advisories had been issued for Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida, even after a man in Galveston, or about the same time a man in Galveston got that flesh-eating virus, and at the same time somebody in Mississippi got it, is what it looks like. But it says avoid riptides, swimming while intoxicated, but it says here that small amounts of Enterococci bacteria are present in most water bodies all the time, but levels can increase after storms as animal waste runs off into land, rivers, and streams. Talking about sailboats doing it, but the truth is it's that and more. We've got chemical plants that's been dumping, like Exxon right there in LaPorte, which is right there by Galveston, for years. Okay, San Jacinto is so polluted, it is gross. Okay, nobody is allowed to eat any fish. They say the fish are so toxic in Galveston, where I come from, that you can't you can't eat but like one of the bluefish, one crab out of there a year because you'll get sick, okay? Believe me. Try going from, say, Baytown through to LaPorte, like through the tunnel, and see if you don't see that sign that's right there by the ferry, okay? But the water is nasty, okay? You shouldn't have been in it a year ago. You shouldn't have been in it this year, okay? Now we've got the volcanic seismic activity under the Gulf of Mexico directly affecting the coastal states. So, goodness beware. Okay, anything mysterious like this, dozens of dead sharks washing ashore, things like starfish, crabs, anything. You should be aware of that, especially when they say that it's unexplained or that something is baffling scientists when it comes to, don't let them fool you, okay? They know exactly what's going on. If a school of fish swims through the high pressure, thick methane that's coming out of the bottom of this ocean, coastal floor, then they're going to die, okay? Same thing with the ocean heating up at the very bottom. That's why the starfish came up, because the temperature at the bottom of the Gulf Coast is so high that it literally cooked them. And then it sent them up to our shores to let us know that we are having ongoing problems. So you should really pay attention. I think they're trying to keep this subtle on the news. I think they're trying to keep us confused. But please start watching for these signs, okay? Things haven't gone away. They're building.
Pierced that dome, and it's rising, and the Gulf of Mexico is all above 80 degrees. From the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico to the top of the Gulf of Mexico, it's now above 80 degrees.
Now, if that blows.
If that blows, there's a couple of things. If the lava hits that methane, this area is obliterated. The planet splits in half.
And then states.
The water will go all the way up to the Appalachians, and then the ensuing tidal wave will obliterate most of this and most of this.
Exohuman/US FEMA camps. Exohuman.com is where this is from. And look at all those FEMA camps. Do they look like they're near you? Oh yeah, they look pretty bad there. That's a lot of them. Now why do you think they have all those FEMA camps? Because they are waiting for a disaster. They are waiting for the first opportunity they can find to put you in one of these camps. Oh, no. They really want to help, right? Okay, this article talks about Obama beginning implantation of microchips in soldiers' brains to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a total cover-up for the truth. First of all, they've been chipping soldiers and army brats alike for a good 40 years, I'm telling you. Okay, but this is just an example of how the behavior modifications, GPS tracking, is really available on our soldiers, but it's also available for us, and they call it RFID. Do you have any idea the implications that this holds, uploading information directly into people's brains? Okay, they make it sound very nice, but who's at the controls? And they're going to try to sell this. They're going to try to tell you everything is okay, but it's really not a great idea. See, because these chips have radio frequencies. That's why they're called radio frequency identification devices. Okay, they're good for tracking you. think about this, they say, oh, in case your kid gets kidnapped, but they want you to wear one of these things too. See, we have a disaster coming, and they're going to offer you help, but you don't want that help. And if you've already taken that chip, then you're going to lead everyone. If you're in a group, you're going to lead them to everyone in that group. Or if someone in your group is chipped, you need to get away from them. Be aware of people around you that you might think, y'all could get together in a situation like this and help each other. You need to find out if they're chipped, carrying any phones, any computers. If they have a vehicle with GPS tracking in it, it has got to go. Okay? You're going to have to go totally off grid in a certain type of situation. And being aware of chipped humans, even chipped animals, keep all of this in mind. It's important for later. Hi, this is some things that you might consider putting in a go bag. You would want to put some essentials like gloves, mark out the reflectors on them with some black Sharpie. Make sure you have a knife. This right here is for cooking. It's its own little stove. You just have to make sure that you have a pot that you attach to your bag. I'll teach you about that in a second. Here's some water purification pills. This is a portable shower that I got on a Survival online store. It has one side of it's black to attract the sun. Make sure you have hand sanitizer, soap, scissors. We have a sewing kit here for any clothes that might need to be mended, and some candy. But some things that you might not think of, you might get lice while you're out in the woods. So be prepared with lice medicine. Make sure that you have a pack of cards. Pack a couple bottles of water, and don't throw away the bottles, because you're going to have to reuse them, okay? If you put any canned good in, make sure that they have a poppable top so you don't have to worry about a can opener, okay? But do pack non-perishable foods. Here I have rice and chicken, Louisiana rice and beans. I have some oatmeal here. For keeping cool, I have one of these rags. You can dip it in water and put it around your neck or forehead. Women, make sure that you do not forget the essentials. You are still able to menstruate. Also, a flashlight that doesn't need batteries is also good. Okay, keep in your possession, but just make sure that you have some kind of weapon ready. And also, word of caution: if you have a smoking habit, pack an extra pack of cigarettes if you must. But remember, they can track you through that. Smoking, any survival clothing, like you need to take a shower, you might want to put on a bathing suit. But this bathing suit is orange, and it makes you very, very easy to spot. So what I've noticed is, keep it right there. A lot of the survival gear, including these tents, are orange. I urge you in advance to get these things. But if you get something like this, get some RIT dye. Get some black dye for all these products. Even the backpack yourself that's a neon pink or green or whatever, you need to dye any items like that black so that you can't be detected.